Hi Flosstube friends, it's Sherry, Colorado Cross Stitcher here on YouTube and also on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Flosstube number 17, take 2. Take 2 because I was in the middle of doing my Flosstube and the cats got into a fight. You know, I've shared Oliver with you before and he is just a wonderful tuxedo cat, so sweet. Until he gets in his mind that he wants to play. And his sister cats don't always want to play with him. So he was racing around here after Gracie, who's 14 and does not like his shenanigans. And it just kept getting worse and worse. I kept trying to talk over it, just continue thinking, oh, the microphone's not going to pick that up. And it got bad. I mean, he never hurts him, but he just, like, the hackles on his back go up and he is just in pursuit of the whole situation. And then when I stop him and, like, get him to snap out of it, he almost is like, what just happened? It's so funny. And he never hurts Gracie. She just has this voracious voice that makes it sound like she's absolutely dying. So, take 2. We're going to start over. Okay. So thank you for joining me today. It has been a super fun week because we launched ColoradoCrossStitcher.com and I have had so much fun packing your orders this week, seeing you guys in person in the shop, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that at the end. So my Flosstube videos are going to basically stay the same. I'm still going to be sharing my stitching with you and things that I've found that are interesting to me and hopefully interesting to you and stuff like that. I will keep the shop talk at the very end, usually the last 5 or so minutes. Today it might be a few more minutes just because it's all new. So if you're just here for shop news, go to the end of the video. If you're just here for the stitching, stay for the front and cut out whenever you want to. All right, so I want to show you some of the things I have worked on this week, not this week, the last 3 weeks. I'm going to try and do Flosstube videos every 3 weeks now. So it's been 3 weeks since my last one. We'll see if I can keep that up. So the first thing I did is we just got these in, and isn't this adorable? Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty's Boohoo. This is one of her brand new designs. And of course when I saw it I had to make it. I want to make both the cat and the grumpy owl. Look how grumpy that owl looks. I just love him. I love the hat. I love the polka dotted bow tie. So cute. And so here is my little finish. And this was on a piece of, I don't know what kind of fabric. I'm sure it is 40 count because the coverage is good with one thread. And sometimes black is a little tricky when you're trying to do that. So I'm sure it's a 40 count. And I finished it with chenille. I'm going to talk about chenille at the end. And then I put this orange polka dotted paper fabric on the back of it. And I just think he turned out so cute. I have to figure out a good way to hold up pin pillows because I feel like I'm always covering part of the design or squishing it when I hold it up. Anyway, I think it was a one evening, no, it was probably 2 evenings, 2 evening kind of a project and super fun and really cute in my fall display. So again, Boohoo by Misty, Luminous Fiber Arts. I will link to all of these patterns in the information box below, so you don't have to worry about writing them down if you don't want to. Okay, and then, oh, I just brought this out. This is like my all-time favorite fall piece, and I love getting it out every year, and that's Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Sampler. And I love everything about this. I love the quilt squares. I love the stars coming out from the chimney. I just think she's just a brilliant designer. So I love having this up at this time of year. Cinnamon Stars. All right. And then I've been working on my Quaker Christmas II by Bygone Stitches. And I will put this in the box below. I don't have a link to it, but if you're interested, I know you can find it. Quaker Christmas II. And I am doing this on 36 count Winter Morn with sulky threads. Now I love silky threads. It's always important to me to have good coverage, good thread coverage on my pieces. And sulky is like 1.5 to 2 strands of DMC. So I think it looks beautiful on 36 count. It would also look great on 32 count, I'm sure. And so here's where I'm at. Let me fold it in half so it's... So again, I didn't get a lot more done on it, but just working on it a little bit by bit, and I still have a long way to go. Look how long the fabric is. So you can tell. Here I thought when I pulled it out last time that I was about halfway done, and I'm really not. I'm maybe just over 1/3 of the way done. I thought originally I would have it done for Christmas this year, and I've just been working on too many other things. So that's okay. I don't need it done for Christmas, but it is lovely to work on. And I really like working on single colors, single colored pieces. Okay, so I've been working on that. And then my big start of the month, of course, was His Eye is on the Sparrow by Heartstring Samplery. And this is a pattern that I've had, well, see, I thought I'd had it for quite a while, but I think she just came out with the book not that long ago. So maybe I haven't had it as long as I thought. But I've always loved this piece. It is huge. And Beth did it on 28 count. So hers must be super huge. I'm doing mine on 25 count Country Mocha, 1/1. And it's still big, even on 25 count 1/1. So here's where I'm at. I decided to start on the border this time. I'm gonna get closer because this is the most beautiful border. I think this is so pretty. Oh, I hope that focuses. I can't tell if it's focusing. It is so pretty, and I think it kind of gets lost because there's so much going on in the middle of this pattern that you're looking at all that stuff and you don't realize what a gorgeous border this is. So I really had fun working on it. I don't usually do the whole border. A lot of times I'll do the inside because a lot of times I start in the middle of a piece, just that's a holdover from the 80s, 90s stitching. And so I start in the middle and I do the border last, and it's not really fun to do the border last. I wouldn't say I dread it coming to the end of a piece, but I don't really like having the border left at the end. So this time I decided to start with the border. Now when I do borders, I always just do half stitches. I don't know, one time I did a border, the whole thing, full stitches all the way around. Of course it didn't match up, so I had to undo all the way around. And as I was undoing it, I kept thinking, this is twice the work. If I'd only done half a stitch, I would have been around faster, figured out my mistake, and pulled it all out and, you know, moved on faster too. So that's what I do. I always do half stitches now on my borders. Then when it matches up, I can put the pattern away for an evening and just zip back around and cross all of those stitches. And that has worked really well for me, and it has saved me some time. This one actually did come out correctly, and you know that the angels sing when your borders match up, and that's how I felt. So I have a little more to go on the bottom. I hope I get that done this weekend, and then I'm going to do that middle band where it says His Eye is on the Sparrow, and I know he watches me. So right here, the band across here, and then I'm just going to have the fun stuff to do, all the different icons. So I think that's going to be really fun. I am doing it in the called for colors, except the red in my border, and I don't have my flosses here. It's a Weeks Dye Works. I don't remember what it is. I'm using it because you needed 2 skeins of that floss, and I happen to have 2 skeins. It was almost an exact match for whatever the called for red is. So that's the only thing I swapped out. But I started this for Sampler September, and also Showstopper Stitch Along. Now Showstopper is one hashtag that I proposed 2 Flosstubes ago, And that's for people who had done camp and they didn't really want camp to end. And I agreed, camp was so much fun, cross-stitch camp this summer. And I thought, well, September is usually sampler September. Well, what if you don't do samplers? What else can you do? Well, you can do a big piece like this. And let's call it Showstopper, Stitch Along. So I'm actually hashtagging Sampler September and Showstopper SAL. So that's my September work. Now, are you supposed to finish your sampler in September, or are you just supposed to work on samplers in September? Because I am in no way going to finish this in September. It'll probably be after the holidays, sometime next spring. But I can tell I'm going to have fun working on the inside, so I think I will keep moving along on it at a pretty good clip because it's really a fun one to do. All right, so those are my 3 pieces that I have worked on for the last 3 months. Let me see where I am on my list. All right, plans for next time. I want to work more on my, what I just showed you, his eyes on the sparrow. So hopefully I'll have good progress. Can't decide what to work on. Maybe I'll do that big apple tree in the middle because that would be another big portion to get out of the way. And then I really want to start that Jane Bannister. I didn't bring it to show you again this time because I showed you the last time. But remember, I don't know, a few videos ago when I said I always want to have a silk project going. I don't always have to stitch in silks. I love stitching in silks, but I also love stitching in all the flosses. But I do like having something going in silk in case I'm in the mood to do that stitching. And I don't have one going right now. So I will start Jane Bannister. Please hold me accountable to that. And then this we just got in the shop and I love this. Now the picture's a little dark, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see as much as I hope you can. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. It is Lucy Beam All Hallows Eve Heart. And so let me see if I can, hopefully that'll focus on that. I love that it's a heart shape. It's very rustic prim. I mean, the design is primitive, but also the aging and distressing on the fabric is very rustic. I don't usually do that on my fabrics, so maybe I'll just choose a darker fabric to do it on, but the simplicity of the design is just so cute. So I'm going to work on that. Kind of decided that I want to do a small, 1 or 2 smalls a month, and then work on some of my bigger projects. I like the immediacy and the reward of getting smalls finished. And okay, that's not the question of the day. Well, let's make it the question of the day. All right, how do you feel about finishing? Do you like to do the finishing? Do you just put the things that you do under the bed or in a container and you don't do much finishing? Do you send it out and have it finished? What are your thoughts on finishing? I don't like finishing. I'd rather be stitching than finishing, but I'm too impatient to send it out and have somebody else finish it for me. I just want to get it done. And once it's done, I absolutely love it. So I love the rewards of finishing, even though I don't like the actual process itself. So I'm kind of in the middle, I guess. I do it because I want it done, and Flosstube is great accountability for getting things fully finished. And I like that too. So how do you feel about finishing? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you put it off? Do you finish right away? Talk to me about finishing in the comments. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Okay, let's see. 3 things. My 3 things, I think I only have, well, I do have 3 things, but one of them is going to be in the shop section. So I wanted to show you this fun piece that I got. Well, here's the frame. Okay, it's a very teal frame. It's looking really green. It's looking really green in the screen. But I found this frame at an antique store. And then I bought this. Okay, hang on, let me get a board to put behind it. I bought this off of eBay because I just love the old vintage cabinet feel of that. Isn't that cute? And the colors are so bright. I just fell in love with it. And so then when I found this, I had this frame actually, and so Paul's gonna cut this down for me because I think it looks great. Now it's a little bit small for this, but it's still gonna be good. He's gonna cut it down a little bit for me so I can frame it, but isn't that fun? So my one of my 3 things is vintage, well, what'd you call it? Vintage pictures. I also like vintage linens. At our antique store, there used to be a vendor there that had the most beautiful old embroidered tablecloths and pillowcases and what are those things called that they'd put over a buffet, or not a buffet, like a dresser cloths maybe. And she did such a beautiful job of laundering them and starching them, and she had them all on hangers. It was always one of my favorite booths to wander through, and she doesn't do it anymore. But I love old vintage embroidered pieces. I think they're so much fun. So that is my first thing of the day. Sharing 3 things is I love looking at all of that. All right. Now my second thing is Eileen's glue, however you pronounce it, but it's tacky glue. And that is how I finish my pillows. Let me get my little pillow again. With the chenille. Now I like the look of pom-poms too, but I feel like chenille is more forgiving. And so I use chenille a lot. I used to hot glue my trims on. And I always felt like I had to work so fast and I always burned my fingers because I was hurrying, trying to get it all put down. And the other thing about hot glue is when it dries, it's a little shiny. If you see it underneath here, you know, it just looks like like shiny glue, like you've done that. This tacky glue, which I got at Hobby Lobby apparently, but this tacky glue dries clear. So if you're looking at this, you cannot tell that I glued this on, except of course you can't see any thread marks where I might have stitched it on. So I think it finishes off really nicely. So if you haven't tried tacky glue, I recommend it. And I think it was in one of Vanna's videos that she talked about keeping your tacky glue upside down in a glass when you're working, because otherwise if you squirt a little and then set it down, then you have to turn it over and wait for all the glue to get back to the bottom of the spout to do it again. So I'm pretty sure it was Vanna that recommended that, and I love that tip because you put it in your glass, the bottom of the glass prevents it from leaking out, and then you pick it up and it's ready to squirt again, and then you put it right back in the glass. So that was a great tip, Vanna, if that was you. So that's 2 of my things. And the third thing I'm going to talk to you about in my shop section. All right, my next thing that I'm really excited about is I have a design to share with you. You know, I have so loved doing designing. I started working on designs last winter or spring, and I'm just having so much fun. I shared my red thread design with you on my last video, Flosstube number 16, and that is still a free pattern, still available on our website. When you go to our website, because last time it was a link that sent you there to sign up for our mailing list, we weren't open yet. Now that we're open, it's under the patterns section. So on the website, if you click on patterns, it'll give you pages and pages of a mixture of patterns. If you put your cursor on patterns and click, you get a drop-down menu and you can shop by theme and you can shop by designer, and there's a section for free patterns. So both my cross stitch camp free pattern and my red thread free pattern are in that particular section. But I designed a bigger piece just to start the whole designing thing, and I've got several designs done. I just don't have the time to haven't had the time to stitch them and get them all moving forward. But this piece I stitched last, I guess late spring, had it framed. I've been dying to show it to you. So my inspiration for this piece is, you know, in the old days when there was a dirt road going down the middle of downtown, and the different merchants put out their signposts, what they did. So you had the blacksmith with the sign post. I call it a signpost. I don't know if that's what they actually called it, but to me it's a signpost. So they put out their signpost blacksmith, and the doctors had the doctor, and the baker had the baker. Well, I wanted a signpost that related to what I did, and I wanted it for my sampler wall. So I wanted a signpost for sampler maker. And so pattern is called Signpost Sampler Maker. I had so much fun designing this. I wanted the words to be big because that was the whole point of the piece. I wanted just to have my own thing on the wall, on my sampler wall, saying that I was a sampler maker, which I love to be doing. I, of course, had to put an alphabet in there because that's a big part of samplers. I had to have the red house, again, big part of samplers. And I'm going to get a little closer for you guys. And you'll notice that the stitcher lady has a crown on because, of course, she does. I'm sure you all wear your crown when you stitch, too. And then there's a lot going on at the top. I have peacocks and birds. I have a little cardinal because cardinals are a symbol of, when you see a cardinal, it means somebody, one of your relatives is thinking about you. I thought that was kind of cool. I just had so much fun designing it, and I had a lot of fun stitching it too. I stitched this on 40 count country mocha, and super fun. And so that is Signpost Sampler Maker. Now, as I also did a little pin pillow because that's something that I want to do with all my future designs, make a big one and then also make an extra little one to go along, like a little extra free pattern in there. Not free because you're paying for the pattern, but a little bonus pattern. So I made this cute little pin pillow that it also says Sampler Maker. And that would look cute in your dough ball, don't you think? And I stitched a border around it, border of X's around it, so I did not put chenille or pom-pom trim or any kind of trim around. I just really kind of wanted it a little more plain as a finish. And then what I did is I swapped the colors. So you'll see on this piece I have the red house and the lady's wearing a blue dress. On this one I did the blue house, the blue house with the red dress, and I changed the color of the thread too. So 2 patterns, both patterns are in there, and I hope you love it because I absolutely love it. I've had so much fun with it, and I'm excited to bring it to you guys. So that's available on our website now. This is what it looks like with both the big framed piece and the little pin cushion. So thanks for letting me share that. And I look forward to having more time to design in the future because, like I said, I've got several designs done. I just need to get them stitched. And some of you who know that I've been doing this have volunteered to stitch, and maybe someday I'll get to that point. Right now I feel like I still change colors as I stitch or change my mind about things or move things around, and so I'm still enjoying the process of stitching those myself, but maybe someday that would be fun. All right, so then what I have left to talk about is some shop stuff. Now, I just want to thank you guys so much for the encouragement, the sharing. I know several of you have shared it on Instagram, which has been so sweet of you. And it has been super fun to have Colorado Cross Stitcher open this week on the website and also in store. I opened in secret because, you know, soft opening, you want to make sure all your systems are working. It just so happened that Marlene, Stitchin' by the Lake, was going to be in Estes Park, which is about an hour from us, with her sister and their husbands, her husband, and she wanted to come down and visit the shop. And I said, well, actually, that's the day I planned to open up the cross stitch section, So Marlene and her sister Sherry were the first in-store customers in the shop, which was super fun. We had so much fun sitting at the table chatting about stitching. Her sister is just as sweet as Marlene is. And it was just really neat to have them be my first 2 customers in store to check out. And then I didn't tell anybody that we had put the website live either. And Betsy Klager, who lives not too far from me, about an hour probably, texted and said, "When are you opening the shop?" And I said, "Well, actually today." So she was my very first online order, which was fun too. So I just loved that the Flosstube community, 2 Flosstubers were my first customers. That was really neat. So we are open for business. We're having so much fun pulling your orders. I always feel like I'm just shopping along with you when I'm pulling your orders. I've felt that way for 15 years of yarn order pulling too. When the order comes through and I see who it is and I see what they've picked, and then I kind of want to just talk to you about what are you making with it. And you guys have ordered a lot of floss and fabric, and I kind of just want to think, now what are you going to do with that? What pattern are you working on? So I feel like I'm shopping for you when we're doing the orders, and we love pulling your orders and taking really good care of your packing it all up, sending it all off. It's not a mass-produced warehouse kind of, getting them all out the door. We really take care with your orders because that's how I want people to process my orders. I want them to take care of what they're pulling, to take care of everything as they pack it up and sending it off with good wishes. And so we're doing all that with your orders. And again, we've been doing it for a long time with yarn, so it's really fun to be able to do that with floss and fabrics and patterns. Now check back often because we're getting shipments in all the time. I shared before that it's been hard to get all the flosses that I wanted. Actually, several of the floss lines were wonderful and sent full lines. But I've had trouble getting some of the other ones or all of them in. We've got so much fabric on order. If you're on my email list, I know I said that in the newsletter, but it's kind of, the system I have set up for fabric now is not going to be big enough by the time we get all this fabric in, but it's just going to take a little while to do. So I unpacked another box today. So I've got fabrics to cut tomorrow, and we serge all the sides of that, so we're going to work on that next week. So we'll have more fabrics up soon. We got a bunch of new patterns in today, and I have a bunch more on order. Blackbird just came out with 3 new reprints, so I have those on order. Those will be in hopefully next week. And so there's just always stuff coming in. So just know if we're out of something, we've probably got it on reorder already. There is a button that you can sign up on the website for notification when we get something back in. And with the flosses, I'm just committing to ordering flosses every week because I don't want to be out. Now, I can only order them. I don't have control over whether the dyer or the company has those in stock. But again, just know if we're out of something that it's on order already, no doubt, and we will have it again soon. Okay, I wanted to talk about a couple of things from the shop, and that relates to one of my finishes today with this chenille. We have Lady Dot Creates and Dames of the Needle pom-pom trim. I love the look of pom-pom trim. I do not like having to sew it onto pin cushions. So what I usually do is if I'm finishing a piece on a board, then I usually put it on the board and do pom-pom trim around it because I, again, love the look of pom-pom trim. I don't want to futz with having to sew it on, and I've never been able to wedge it in between when I'm sewing around the edges and sew that close. I don't know. I just don't have good luck with pom-pom trim and pin pillows. So we have a lot of chenille in the store that we're doing our own little line of this. And so they are 5 yards. So you get a generous amount. And we have all different colors. I don't know, we have 15 or 18 colors. And there's still some other colors that I'm going to get. But I just pulled some of the colors. So I thought these would be fun fall colors. So we've got pumpkin And we've got chimney and we have sunflower. So these are fun for fall. Of course, I have to have them all at home because that's where I finish. Eggplant, Valentine. Actually, we have 3 different reds, but this is one of them. We have Thunderstorm. Let's see. Let me put my glasses on so I can tell you for sure. Yes, Thunderstorm and Smoke, so light and dark gray. We have Vanilla Cream and Snow. We have Sage. So we have a lot of colors. And if you like having a lot in stock at your house so you don't have to worry about, you can do finishing whenever, this is a great deal for you. So that's fun. And then one thing I do with my trims, which you might want to think about, is and I've shared this before, but I brought it up from my sewing room so I could show it to you again. When I get a certain trim, whether it's again Lady Dot, Dames of the Needle, now our new lines, I always clip a little piece of it and staple it to the card with the name of it, so that if I'm looking for reordering, I know what colors I like and what colors, maybe I didn't use so much and I don't like, but it's a good resource to have on a ring for yourself. And that brought me to another thing I've always wanted to have a ring of is my favorite fabrics, my favorite counts, my favorite colors. I don't know about you, but I have such a hard time finding called for fabrics that I don't even bother anymore. I don't pay any attention really to whatever the designer used in their particular pattern because I can't find it half the time. I buy fabrics that I like to use. I buy, counts that I like, and so I don't worry so much. But I've always wanted a ring of all of my different fabrics that are my favorites, favorite colors, favorite counts, favorite brands, and this is something we had in our shop when we sold fabrics. Now, we sold fabrics for 6 or 7 years at the Loopy U, and we got out of it about 1.5 years ago so we could expand our yarn shop, which we did. But there was always a back section left, which is where we have Colorado Cross Stitcher now. But these Swatch Buddies are something we sold in the shop for fabric, and this is made for quilters so that they can put different little swatches of their fabrics on this key ring. It's a flexible ring. You get 24 cards and you get adhesive to put your fabric on there, and then you get a label to put on the back where you can write the information. And I was looking at this and I thought that is exactly what I want for my cross-stitching fabric reference ring. And so these you'll find on our shop too. They're called Swatch Buddies, and again 24 little cards. And I also thought, this would be nice if I'm trying to find a certain color and I can't, I can look at this and see what's close to that I have in my stash that I might want, or what things have I had before that I now don't have in my stash that I want to reorder. So isn't that a great little reference tool? So again, we have those in the shop. I don't even know if they make these anymore. I tried finding them online. I think the company went out of business. I have a lot of them, but once they're gone, they're gone. So if you like the idea, get it while you can. All right, and then now that I'm doing my floss tubes every 3 weeks, hopefully, I'm going to try and make them a little bit shorter. That's easier to record, it's easier to upload, and it's easier for you guys. You don't have to sit there for so long. So this is going to be a little shorter today, hopefully. I'm watching my clock and I'm already going to be shorter, I think. I have drawings from last time, which I should have done before the shop update. I'll think about that next time. So I had, first of all, Country Christmas 1 by Annie B's Folk Art. Cute little ornaments. And the winner of that is Janada or Janada Chingwa. I hope I pronounced that right, Janada. So if that's you, contact me. My email is below and I will get this mailed right off to you. And then We have the Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm, which is just a beautiful piece. I just got this in my box of patterns today, so I need to get this up on the website. And this is Julie Fawkes, Fawkes. Julie, you won this one. So get a hold of me and I will get that right out to you. Now, for a giveaway this next time, of course I'm going to give away 3 copies of this new Signpost sampler maker pattern that I came up with. If you have purchased it in the meantime and you end up winning, I will send you another copy or I'll refund your money, whatever. But if you are interested in being in the drawing for my brand new pattern, let's use the word sampler in your comment so you can talk to me about if you like making samplers, if you're participating in Sampler September, what the latest sampler you've been working on. If you don't like it, probably if you don't like samplers, you're not going to be in this contest anyways. But use the word sampler and I will do the random picker to draw 3 winners next time. All right, I think that is all I have for you today. Thank you again so much for joining us. Thank you again for checking out our new shop. We're having a lot of fun having you guys in, whether it's online or in person, and we just so appreciate the support. Be sure to subscribe to my videos if you want to see the next time I have a video up, and I will catch you the next time. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye-bye.